Hi, I'm Daphne from Daps Makeup, here to give you the quick tea on luxury makeup. And today, I got a lot to talk about as usual, so prepare to sip slow because today we are talking about the new Chanel lipsticks. Yes, and yes, you see right, I bought 4 of them. Full. I bought 4 of these lipsticks. So you know I'm excited about this collection. This is a special edition collection. If you watched my previous Chanel collection lipstick review, particularly part 1, then I had already told you that these were coming out, and I told you when they come out, I was gonna buy it. No lies were told. Yes, I bought them. And this is a special edition. Why they're playing lists like this? Just make it permanent, but of course no. So special edition packaging, shades, everything. So this will not last forever. So definitely watch this video, check out all the shades, and then, you know, make your informed choices before they go away. Why are we so in love? You know, I was curious if it was going to be a different formula. You know, we had talked about in my last video how like they discontinued the Rouge Allure Velvet Extreme. I was wondering, ooh, are they going to bring it back? No, it is just the normal Rouge Allure Velvet formula. So it's really not much different from what if you've had these lipsticks before, different from the previous. Now I do find sometimes, depending on the different shades, sometimes there can be a little bit of difference in formula, so I'll touch upon that. But for the most part, it's not a major change from the previous formula. If you're new to the formula, I will tell you all about it because it's very different from a traditional matte lipstick. If you're thinking about Prada, Eldridge, Gucci, very different from those formulas, and I will compare them. I have some shade comparisons using those brands. So I'll tell you, not only give you some shade comparisons, but tell you the difference in formula compared to those. Because Chanel does matte differently. But let's first talk about the packaging. Okay, you see it. It is black and white. So this is very different. I'm going to pull out traditional. This one's just a Rouge Allure. I just grabbed the first one I could find, but Rouge Allure Velvet, you know, is the same thing where it's the black carton with the gold accents, where this one now is a white carton with black trim, you know, in terms of the accent. And then when it comes to the actual bullet, this is the old one. So the bullet, same thing where it's black on the outside and has the gold top CC logo. The only white is the Chanel logo. And the black has got like a shiny finish. So there's a shininess to all of this, and it's got the whole pop-up action to pull out the lipstick. The new ones, I'm just looking behind me because I'm just grabbing the lipstick. So here's one. I'm just grabbing any one. So it is white, mainly white on the outside, black lettering for Chanel at the bottom, and at the top, it's a black and white top. Still the same pop-up action, but it's not gold, it's black and white, and it has more of like a matte finish, where the other one has a shiny finish. And that applies to the previous matte formula, but this time they truly made a matte casing. So let me break this down a little bit more. So yes, the packaging is exquisite. It truly is truly exquisite. So before I show you the shades, just a little quick story time. I wanted to tell you the experience of buying these lipsticks. You know, I'm really big into Chanel, clearly. If you've been watching my channel, I have a lot of videos on Chanel. I'm really amassing a nice, you know, Chanel collection. But to be honest, I just really got into Chanel in the last like 2 years, maybe 3. So just in the last couple of years. So in some respects, I'm still pretty a newbie to Chanel. Now, the majority of the products that I buy, I'm usually buying online, sometimes from department stores, and a lot of times directly from Chanel's website. And that's an experience of itself. But I actually first initially bought 2 shades online, and then I bought the other 2 in store. And I had a nice experience with both. But I really have to touch upon especially the in-store experience. So buying online, just in case you've never bought online, that is great as well. Like, it'll come packaged in beautiful packaging. You'll have your choice if you want it more in a box form, or if you, they also have more like a canvas, like makeup bag kind of form, like drawstring bag. And depending on what you buy, like if you make a really big purchase, it'll come in a big, nice square box. If it's smaller, and it'll come in a box like this. Sometimes it might have a special bow, depending on the type of season. But you'll get it in, you know, some type of nice packaging that'll be nicely wrapped up. It comes quick. Like, I swear, like it came to me in like 2 days. I didn't pay extra for shipping. It was free shipping. So they are fast, they are quick, and beautiful packaging. And so I bought the 2 more brown tone shades, numbers 4 and 6. I bought those 2. I felt very confident about buying those 2 online, that I was going to like the shades. Of course, I did. And I love them so much that I was like, I want to get maybe 1 or 2 more. But as I was trying to decide which ones to get, I was like, I really need to see in person, because especially I was thinking about getting one of the orange tone shades. And orange, I'm really picky about orange, because for me, for my personal taste, orange on me, as beautiful it is on a lot of other people, certain oranges on me, I feel like I'll look like a clown. It can be just too bright for my liking on my skin tone. So I'm really particular. So I own a lot of brown lipsticks, but I own a very small collection when it comes to orange lipstick. So I was like, I want to go in person. So I decided to go in person in store on my day off. I say day off, you know, in a lot of respects it's work from home. But basically I had some free time away from the children, away from my husband. So this was just me time. And so I decided to go in store. Now, I've been to the store a couple of times, but I've always gone with friends, which is a great experience, you know, going with friends. And in those moments, to be honest, it's more about that time for me to spend with my friends that I don't get to see so often, us just enjoying the experience of getting makeup together. But I'm not trying to like monopolize the time and have it be all about me. And all those times too, I was kind of like, I know exactly what I want. But this was different. This is where I'm not sure exactly what shade I want, and I want to take the time to just have some me time. So I go to the store, and you know, my, I guess, frame of reference is kind of thinking like me going to Sephora. I was like, okay, I'm going to go in store, and I'm going to just, I'll grab this lipsticks myself, the demo lipsticks, and I'll just swatch it on my arm, take a pick, and then pick what I want to pick, and then be out. And then I'll have all the shades for you, which I do. All right. So, okay. So I go there, and the display is right up front. So I'm like, oh, there it is. And, you know, and I immediately get greeted by one of the staff, lovely staff member, one of the essays. And you know, I let her know that, yeah, I'm interested in the new lipstick. She's like, oh, great. Come inside. You know, we actually have some of the demo lipsticks actually in our wall inside. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I come inside, and I'm getting ready to roll up my sleeves because I'm ready to, like, you know, swatch these myself. You know, and I told her that I had bought 2, but I'm still deciding which ones I want to get out of the remaining 6. So she goes, yeah, you'll be able to get to try it on your lips, on yourself, so you could see it on. I was like, oh, really? And so she ushers me over to, how it's kind of set up. There's this like center aisle where everything is all set up, where you have your own like mirror. Like there's several mirrors, but you go to sit, she pulls out the chair, I sit down, and it's like I have my own vanity. So I have my own mirror, you know, laid down there. Already some Chanel products there, but she brought over the 6 lipsticks that, you know, I haven't tried yet. And she, in front of me, starts sanitizing every one of the lipstick bullets in front of me. She then takes out this, like, you know, palette. Like, I know a lot of makeup artists use it. I kind of think of a true painter. The palette they use, they put all the paint colors on, and then they'll dip their brush into paint. Well, she had a nice small one in plastic, clear plastic, and she puts a nice heavy swatch of every lipstick shade on it for me. And then she gives me an individual applicator for me to use for each individual shade. And then I got to just sit down on my own and take my time and try each lipstick. She's like offering me water. And I'm like, would you like some water? And I'm like, sure, you know. And then of course she's like, would you like it flat or sparkling? And I'm like, oh, I'll take it flat, you know. And then, you know, here she is. I saved the bottle. I'm about to recycle it, but she gives me my Evian bottle of water. I drank it afterwards because I didn't want to mess up the lipstick, but you know, I'm getting offered waters, you know, I'm getting to sit down in my own, like, it's like my own personal vanity, and I got to try every single one. And it was such an amazing experience to do that. So I tried all 6 of the remaining shades, and it was great to do that. You know, I'll tell you straight up, you know, so these shades, right? Even just talk, even this collection is called Nuit Blanche, which direct translation means white night, but this slang or phrase used by the French, it means like sleepless night. It means like doing an all-nighter. So basically it's out partying, like you're leaving at midnight when everybody else is going to sleep, and you're coming back home at 7 a.m. when everybody else is going to work. So each shade is labeled by the timestamps hourly. So it's like 00 for midnight, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, total of 8 shades. All right, so let me go through the shades. So 00, it's like a classic red. It was beautiful. Like everything was beautiful. I tried it on, it was beautiful. I decided to pass on it just because I didn't feel like it was unique enough for me. It was just a nice classic red. I have my classic reds, so I was like, cool. The next one was 01. And this is the one that I was thinking I was gonna go for. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go, you know, a little outside of my comfort zone and go for the orange. And yeah, because I knew it was an orange, had enough red in it that makes me feel comfortable that it's not too bright. I put it on and I was like, yes, okay, yep, I'm right. So I got that one because I was trying to decide between that and number 2, which also looked beautiful. It was actually really nice. It was brighter than number 2, and like I said, I'm a little bit intimidated by bright lipstick, so I went with number 1 versus 2. But if you're somebody who likes a brighter lipstick, then 2 would be your go-to, and I'm going to show you all the shades. Then number 3. Okay, number 3 was one that I went in store having... in my mind, I was already like, I'm not getting it. It's a bright pink. I'm like, not doing that. If anything, I might get number 5, which has more of a plummy, purpley, magenta kind of, more purpley toned. But, you know, I'm like, I'm going to try them all. So I put on the 3, and I was like, wait a second. You know what? She's looking kind of cute. And I'm noticing the staff there was like, yeah, you look good. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, you know what? I might get it. And surprisingly, it was the shade I did not think I was going to get. So that's the beauty of going in store, because I wouldn't have been willing online to do it, but going in store, I was like, oh, this is actually nice. So I did get it. So I'm proud of myself. I went outside my comfort zone, got an orange and a pink. I already had purchased number 6, purchased number 4. I'll be trying that on. It's a nice, it's the deepest brown out of the shades. It has a red tone to it. Number 5 is a beautiful shade. I decided to pass on it just because I feel like I have enough of those kinds of shades, and I just felt like number 3 just popped more compared to number 5. Number 6 is what I have on now. This is another one, like it might look on, when you see advertisement, that it looks like a brown, but on me, it comes off as a beautiful mauve pink nude. And then number 7 is one that I knew I was going to pass on, and it was confirmed. That is the lightest. It's a really light pink. It's just, you know, much lighter than I like for my skin tone, my liking. And it's actually more sheer compared to the other 6. It was much more sheer. You would have to spend more time building it up, especially on my pigmented lips. You know, for me to wear it, I would have to build it up a lot. I would definitely have to wear a brown liner. It was just going to be way too much work. And I'm here for the soft life. You know, these lipsticks are not cheap, and I wanted to get the lipsticks so that I could just put on and not have to work hard for them. So those are all the descriptions of the shade colors. But let me show you. So I'm going to show you a demo video. If you've already followed me on Instagram, Daps_makeup, or been watching my shorts, you would actually have already seen this video. But here's a video of all 7 shades, all 8 shades. 6 of them I did in store, 2 of them I did at home. So you'll notice the difference in backgrounds. You get to see them all there. But then when you come back, I will show you all 4 shades in natural light. You're seeing this one now. But you're going to get to see all 4 shades on me in, you know, natural lighting. I'm going to do some comparison shades, and I'm going to tell you what I really think about this formula. Clearly, I like it that I bought several, but it's not necessarily for everybody. This is a formula that I know a lot of people love, but a lot of other people could be disappointed depending on what your expectations and your preferences for matte lipstick. So we will talk about it. So watch this quick demo video, and then we'll come back and talk some more.
Yo, you want to see something cool? No? Well, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Alright, well, I hope you found that quick little video helpful. So there you got to see all 8 shades. But let's take a closer look at the 4 shades that I have. So we're going to work backwards. I'm starting with the current shade I have already on my lips, and that is number 6. Okay, so you already got see it on my lips, but I'm going to just take it out, and I'm going to do, I don't want it to be too high. I'm going to do a swatch on my arm. Okay, so you can see what it looks like on my arm. So beautiful shade. I love this shade. Once I started wearing, I was trying to think what else looked like it, and then I thought of a lipstick that I just recently got, and I do have a video already up for it, but it is Prada. I was like, wait a second, don't I have a shade like this? And so I do have a dupe for this one. So this is Prada's. This is the shade Tonka. But this is in the soft matte formula. So you know, Prada has 2 different formulas, a hyper matte and a soft matte. So the soft matte is not as saturated as the hyper matte, but I'm going to compare it to the Chanel. Now, it's going to be very comparable in color. So you can see pretty similar. You know, the Tonka might be a little bit darker than the Chanel. You know, this might be a little bit lighter and pinker than the Chanel, but same color family. And just, I don't know if you can appreciate from the swatches, and sorry for my hairy arm, but hopefully you can appreciate this, that even this being the soft matte, this is still more saturated and more matte than the Chanel, which is going to be a running theme that we're going to talk about. The other one is actually Lisa Eldridge, and it's in the shade Blush. And so this is another very similar shade. So as you can see, the most matte of them all, definitely very pigmented and saturated. This one, where the Prada is a little bit deeper, the Lisa's more pinker, and brighter. So I love all 3 shades. You know, to be honest, I tend to actually I like these 2 better than Lisa Eldridge, just shade wise. I'm not even talking about formula, but just shade wise, just because these 2 are a little bit deeper than Lisa Eldridge. Lisa Eldridge is more pink. So for my personal preference, because I'm a deeper skin toned, these 2 I feel much more comfortable, especially not wearing a liner. I feel comfortable wearing this without a liner. With this one, I might still put a little bit of a liner just for my comfortability. Not saying you can't pull it off, but it's just a little bit brighter. But still, if you have either of these 2, just so you know, it's going to be a very similar family. Especially got the Prada. You might not need them, but you know, there's slight differences to me, and there's differences in formula. So we'll talk more about that, but let's move on to the next shade. All right, let's try number 4 on. Get a little closer. It's applying very smoothly. Feels very comfortable on the lips. Feels like I'm applying almost like a satin, even though it's a matte. So that is number 4 in natural lighting on my lips. All right. Okay, for shade number 4, I was trying to think, and I don't really have a shade comparison. I'm just gonna put it underneath, so you can see it how it's different from number 6. So this is number 4, so you can see it's deeper and has more of a red undertone, where these are more of a pinky undertone. I mean, I probably have a lipstick somewhere in my collection that's like this, but maybe because I have so many browns, I can't off the top think of a shade comparison. So sorry, I'm not going to give a shade comparison for this one, okay? But I am going to give shade comparisons for the next 2. So I'm going to wipe off my arms, and then we'll move on to shades 3 and wait, future me. I gotta at least give you one shade comparison for 4. That's not fair. So I have 4 on the lips, but I'm still gonna just swatch it on my arm first, just so that we have baseline for comparison. So the one lipstick I'm gonna compare it to is an old Chanel lipstick that is discontinued, not only in shade but in formula. It's that Rouge Allure Velvet Extreme. You know, that other matte formula that I was wondering if they were going to bring back, and they did not. Let's compare it. They are not the same. This is not the same, but at least you can kind of see the difference in the 2, and you can see the difference in formula. So they're not the same. They're not. I honestly, I don't have any comparison, but I thought I'd take this opportunity just to show you the difference in formula. And this is what I mean, like, can you tell when we say luminous matte? I got the natural lighting coming through, and you can see how it has the shine to it, where this one is totally matte and opaque. So this is more of a true brown. They're both a warm tone brown, but this has almost even maybe a little bit of orange to it, where this is more like a raisin brown, so more reddish than this one. So no, they're not the same, but actually I'm going to bring out one more lipstick that maybe the shade might be closer, but the formula is definitely also way off. It's the YSL Candy Glaze. So this is a very juicy formula. So completely different. Actually I already swatched it. And it's still different, but this is number 3. I was trying to find a brown that has some red to it. But then you can see like the different levels of, like, you know, when you have something that is a true satin or a true gloss, how glossy this is. This Chanel's formula is not as glossy as a satin or lip shine, but not as matte as most traditional mattes. It's falls somewhere in the middle, that it's a matte but still has a little bit of glow. So it's actually really easy to glide on and comfortable to put on, but not as opaque as this, but not as glossy as this. So just so you can see the difference in formulas. Like I said, color-wise, I just don't have something that's exactly like this. That was the best that I could do. It truly is something that's unique to my collection. I really love this color. It is gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. So anyway, back to our scheduled programming. Now let's put number 3 on the lips. You can see this more of a brighter pink. But my natural lip is still peeking through, even as I add layers. So yeah, like this color just pops on my lips. And so this is, like I said, a bright pink, but it's not intimidating for me. So some may be disappointed that your natural lip color will show through, and maybe a reason that you might not like it, because I don't like bright lipsticks. I actually don't mind that my natural lip color is showing through, because I feel more comfortable this way wearing this lipstick shade. So, and that's the shade. Pop a color without being too intimidating. Loving it. All right, we're going to shade number 3. This one I only brought out one lipstick to compare to. So this is the pink one. This is the one I did not expect to get. But it's just a fun shade. So I don't do bright pinks a lot, but I don't know, there's something about this that just spoke to me. So I'm gonna compare it to a Gucci lipstick this time, and this is Love Before Breakfast. Love Before Breakfast. This is another fun shade. I don't wear too often. You know, I kind of save these when I do use them more for the summer. I don't always adhere to the whole concept of seasons and stuff, but with this kind of lipstick, I tend to do that. I was trying to think of what would be closer. They are definitely different. The Gucci is a much more brighter pink. So as you can imagine, I feel more comfortable wearing the Chanel. This version, it has some red to it. It's not as bright. Bright colors scare me, like I keep saying over and over again. But yeah, like I always put a liner with this, you know, something that has a little bit more red tone to it or purple to make me feel more comfortable. This one I can, I probably still find myself probably putting a liner, but I would feel more comfortable wearing it without a liner, just because, like I said, it's not as bright and it's not as saturated. And for better for worse, you know, something that might disappoint others, but some might prefer. But anyway, like this is much more saturated. This is not, but for a brighter color, I actually don't mind a lipstick to be not so saturated and opaque if it's a color that's, in my opinion, is too bright for me. Let's move on to the orange shade. All right, the last one, time for number 1. And this is the more orange tone shade. Allowing you to kind of see my initial layer, and then I pile on. So you can see what one swipe is, and then you can build it up. The beauty of this is that this is a kind of lipstick that I can keep building up, and it'll never feel like extra drying or cracking because I'm building it up. Sometimes with matte lipsticks, the more you try to pile on, then it can get more drying and more comfortable, more crumbly. This doesn't. So you can keep applying as many times as you want, and it'll always apply smoothly and comfortably. So once again, great color, but you can still see a little bit of my natural lip color peeking through. But yeah, this is just a fun, bright orange that, like I said, for my personal taste, I can handle. I might still, like for my personal preference, put a lip liner, but both the pink and the orange, I still feel comfortable. If I didn't have the liner, it wouldn't bother me too much. So this is number 1. Mwah. Okay, so I got number 1, and I'm gonna go just beneath this. And so this is an orange that I was excited to try because, once again, it's an orange, but it's not super bright. There's some red in that, so that it makes it much more comfortable for me to wear. Now, I will tell you what is my has been my ultimate favorite orange lipstick, because I really don't do orange much. But whenever I want to do orange, it is from Lisa Eldridge, and it is a shade Cinnabar. I'm telling you, this shade right here is special. And this is a shade I swear all skin tones can pull off. It looks different in all skin tones, but it looks beautiful in all skin tones. I swear, I haven't seen this look bad on a single person of any skin tone. I don't care what you say. So this is the one that I feel comfortable with because, once again, it's not a bright orange shade. It's got some red to it. It's got some brown to it. So it's definitely much deeper than the new Chanel. You know, when I was trying to decide about this shade, should I get it? Should I not? Should I do number 1? Should I do number 2? I was asking some friends, you know, on in social media, IG and stuff, who had already bought these shades, and I was asking them, hey, how does it compare to Cinnabar and things like that? And they told me they were I was rest assured, like, no, it's different from Cinnabar. Don't worry, it's not a dupe. You know, they had told me, yes, Cinnabar would be much more brown, more red. So to not worry. And they actually mentioned, if anything, that Chanel's, this number 1, if anything, is probably more similar to the one I think Lisa Eldridge called Red Dragon. I think it's called, or Dragon. I don't have it, so I can't show it to you. But if you do have the other one, that would be the one to go to. So that would be one that it might be a dupe. So better, you may or may not want to get this shade if you have that one. But if you have Cinnabar, don't worry, it is not a dupe. So I was like, whew, not a dupe. And I'm going to show you one other orange shade. This is from Gucci. And I'm going to tell you already, I could tell you, these are 3 different oranges, which I'm happy about because I don't want to honestly dupe. I want to have different lipstick shades. This, as you can already tell, is going to be the brightest of the 3. I don't wear it too often, but once again, this is my summer. These 2 Gucci shades, I break them out in the summer when I'm, you know, when I want to have some fun. But year round, you know, I'm wearing this more often. You know, and especially this is kind of traditionally more of a fall shade. This is more of a summer shade. But as you can see, all 3 are very different. So if you want a super bright orange, go with Gucci. If you want a rich, deeper orange, especially great for the fall, then go with Lisa Eldridge's Cinnabar. And then this fits right in the middle. And I'm so happy that I have this Chanel because that's kind of what I needed. I wanted something a little bit brighter than Cinnabar, but not as bright as Agatha Orange from Gucci. And this sits right in the middle. Like I said, Lisa Eldridge's Red Dragon might be a dupe, but if you don't have it, this would fit the bill. And especially, even though Lisa Eldridge has been my favorite matte lipstick formula, there's some people who aren't a fan of Lisa's formula. And if you're one of those people, then you're probably going to like Chanel's better. So you do have now an orange option that would be comparable to Lisa's as a shade, but in different formulas. So yeah, let's talk about this Chanel lipstick formula, this Rouge Allure Velvet. And it is described, for those who are not familiar with this formula, with this brand, it's described as a luminous matte, which is an interesting description because it feels like 2 different words that contradict each other. Are we matte? Are we luminous? What? And so, you know, the thing about this formula, and I'll try to get a little closer, you can see better. It's matte, but I hope you can appreciate, like, there is like a little bit of a glow to it, right? A little bit of luminosity. It's not a flat matte. You know, as we consider with some other lipstick formulas, some that I showed you with the shade comparisons. It's not all the way matte. And the other thing about it, I'll try to get closer. I mean, I think the pigmentation is actually pretty good here. But, and I did do more than one swipe, so this isn't a one swipe. I did a couple swipes. But if I look real close, you can still see my natural lip tone piercing through. So it's not like completely blotting out my lipstick tone, for better or for worse, okay? So like when I showed you like the Lisa Eldridge, you know, those, they blot out. You know, if you don't want any of your lips, your natural lipstick lip shade to show through, those will be blotted out. You know, the Prada Hyper Matte will be blotted out. So the difference between those is that when we talk about Prada and Lisa Eldridge, those are some real mattes that will have great opacity, and they are matte. They are matte all the way matte, playing no games matte. Okay? They have a velvet formula. They feel velvety, where this feels, it got some velvet to it, but yeah, it's a little bit more slicker than compared to those two. So for better, for worse, it's about a preference between those two. You know, for those who watched my Chanel collection video, I would have told you, I told you the whole story when I first started. The first one I ever bought was of this formula, and I actually was so unimpressed. I was talking about, number one, I had just bought Lisa Eldridge, just had bought Gucci at that time. I was enamored by, you know, the opacity of those lipstick shades. And then when I bought the ones I got, the one that I got, the opacity didn't even compare. And it was like such a letdown. And I'll tell you, I will say also, although it's the same formula, now that I have actually now a total of 8, I have 4 old ones and then 4 new ones. Although the formula for the most part is the same, between different shades, I do feel they're not exactly equal. So like I just got my old ones. One of the reasons why I was kind of disappointed was I remember when I first got, I'm going to do some swatches again, but the first one that I ever got was this one called Beige Ardent. And it might be because of the shade, but I don't know if you could appreciate, but like you can see the opacity here is not the best. And it might also just be the shade, you know. I think if I get shades that are really nudie shades, the issue of opacity becomes more apparent and bothers me more. Here's another shade, Intuitive. These light shades, you know, because they lack opacity against my brown skin tone, they don't pop. Versus if I had gotten these same shades, but like in Lisa Eldridge, I think they would have popped more on my skin tone. When I get deeper shades, some old ones again. This is Brune Celeste, because this is deeper. But even this, you see, like, but I can build it up. But it's like, you know, I'm telling you, if I had the same shade in Lisa Eldridge Gucci, it would be much more saturated. Now this one, Ruiz, I always find, see, now there is something different about this one. See what I'm saying? This one was part of my favorites for last year. You can see like the level of opacity for these are different than this. And they're all the same formula. So sometimes the shade actually matters. With the new 8 shades, I didn't buy it, but there is a definite distinction difference between shade number 7 and the other 6 shades. Shade number 7 is going to be sheer, and you have to really build that up. And it's like not just that it's light in color, but it's just straight up less in opacity. But my new ones, I love these. I think I'm getting a decent amount of opacity. So I think the opacity is it's the same formula, but I do see an improvement compared to some of the older ones I have. But I do think it's shade dependent. So I find like when Chanel does deeper shades, they also bring out the opacity out. And when they go lighter, they also pull back on opacity. So I don't know. And like I said, actually for the brighter shades, I don't mind if it's not fully opaque. I actually appreciate that it kind of blends. And even this one, I don't know, this kind of a tone, because it's so natural, I don't mind if it's not hyper opaque. But I still feel that it gives enough and it's buildable. So that's where I feel in terms of the opacity. You know, the thing about it is it's a comfortable matte. You know, I don't have a problem with Prada or Lisa Eldridge at all. I really don't. But I know there's a lot of people who are not fans of matte lipsticks because they can be very drying and so forth. These are much more comfortable. Chanel is more comfortable than other traditional mattes. So for anybody who is not a fan of traditional mattes because they are too dry, then you're gonna like this. It is so much more comfortable. It is still different from, I'll grab, I just grabbed a random Rouge Allure. If you're curious, like a regular Allure, there is still a difference between a Rouge Allure, and I don't know if you'll be able to appreciate this, honestly, but the Rouge Allure Velvet, their luminous matte versus their true satin Rouge Allure, you might not appreciate it, but it's definitely more juicy. And like the regular Rouge Allure, they don't last long. They really don't. I don't care because they feel so good that I love reapplying it. I know it sounds weird, but I love to reapply this lipstick. So I don't mind that these don't last because I'll just keep reapplying. I don't care. But the Rouge Allure Velvet lasts longer than these. I won't say necessarily that lasts longer than the Prada or the Lisa Eldridge, but they're pretty good. Like, I would never recommend anybody ever falling asleep in the makeup. Not good. But I fell asleep by accident. I fell asleep with my makeup, and I woke up, and my lips were still looking good with these Rouge Allure Velvets. It was like a beautiful stain on my lips. It was still there, and it really looked really matte too. I feel like as the lipstick wears off, it becomes more matte looking. So I feel like it has a decent longevity. You know, not to say you're gonna lose some of the opacity and you're gonna want to retouch, but it still actually lasts pretty well. And I just think it fades away nicely. It's comfortable. So for me, I think they're pigmented enough. But yeah, if you're telling me to compare to Lisa Eldridge or Prada, it's a preference. Prada and Lisa Eldridge, much more matte, much more opaque. Chanel will be much more comfortable of a lipstick. So, but I love these, and I love the 4 shades that I bought. I mean, honestly, I felt, maybe we exclude number 7, but especially 0 through 6, I could have easily gotten all 7 of those shades. You know, I didn't want to, these aren't cheap, and I wanted to try to pick very distinctive shades. But all of them look good. So if you see a shade or 2 that you really like, I say go for it. These are limited edition. I don't know how long they're going to stay around. Limited edition packaging, limited edition shades. You know, I actually do like the formula. I think it's a unique formula that I've actually, over time, have come to really like and now love. So I think I've talked long enough, probably too much, so I'm going to end the video now. I hope you found this video helpful. You know, in terms of the rest of my makeup, by the way, you know, I usually do something much more bold, but I try to keep it very simple because I wanted the lips to be a star. But just giving you a sneak peek, I have the new talking about Lisa Eldridge liquid liner and mascara on. YSL bronzer, but I'm not gonna do first impressions. I want to use it for like a week or so and then come back with my final thoughts. So you'll have to wait next week to hear my final thoughts on those products, but just wanted to give you a heads up. You know, I won't give you my initial impressions, but you can see what it looks like on my first use. Okay, so be prepared to talk about those products next week. But until then, have a great day, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye.